So welcome back to White House Farm. Today we're going to be working on the Husqvarna, and this thing, as you could tell, was a little dusty and been sitting around for a long time. So we're going to go ahead and do a quick tune-up on this and see if we can get it running again. Probably haven't used this thing in, geez, I'd say at least 4 or 5 years. That's how long it's been. So we'll have to go through it and definitely check the carburetor out. I normally empty them before I store them, so hopefully it will fire up and there'll be no issues with the carb. But if there is, we know how to do that. Quick carb clean, and hopefully won't have to replace it or any of the parts or have to do a rebuild kit on it. But without further ado, let's go ahead and start getting into this bear.
Okay, so here we have the Husqvarna Push Weed Whacker. It's got a Briggs & Stratton 625 series with a 190cc engine. And that's the number you can use to look up parts.
All right, so the first thing we're gonna do, we're gonna go ahead and take off the air filter here. So you just need a regular flathead, or you could use a wrench with that. All right, so we're gonna remove this screw over here, and the air filter screw. And the carburetor sits right under in here too.
Okay.
All right, we can fold that down and take a look at the air filter here. Yep, go ahead and take that right out. All right, doesn't look too bad for all that sitting. All right, and here's the other filter right here. You see how much stuff that actually blocks from getting in there. All right, so we're gonna disconnect this, and we're gonna go ahead and take out this 1, 2, 3 bolts in there. We'll be able to take this cover off, and then we'll undo the spring here and this piece, and we should be able to get to the 2 bolts in the fuel line to get to the carburetor. All right, so now that we got the choke separated there, we can go ahead and take the screws out of here, and then we could flip this whole thing up to get this last piece off here, and then we can get to the carburetor. I'll do this. And that pops right out, just like that. So that's our air filter piece there. Now we got a better look at the carburetor, and the gasket actually still looks good. We'll go ahead and remove the fuel line here. Yep, that's good. And now you can pull that line right off. You should be able to pull it off by hand. Sometimes you a little help here it's been sitting so long. Just watch your fingers, because it can slip and get you. Yeah, pull it right off. All right, so some old fuel in there. Well, let's go ahead and let it drain down into here. And that is some nasty looking fuel. That looks, yeah. That's paint thinner, basically. It's been sitting so long.
Out.
What's that?
You can see it puff up.
Watch your eyes, though. All right, so that looks a lot better. close that up. And that way, hopefully, after cleaning out the carburetor, fresh gas in here, we'll throw some stable fuel in there as well, some stabilizer, and we shouldn't have any issues. All right, so we got one bolt back there and one bolt back there, and we can go ahead and take that carburetor off. All right, but first let's go ahead and disconnect this spring here. And that just pulls off from right there. That's where it was at. Pull that off. Now we can go ahead and take those two bolts out, and then the last thing will be to slip that piece off right there. There's one.
There's two.
All right. Now we should be able to pull this right off of there. There we go. And we should be able to turn this to get this last piece out. There we go. Got it out. So, I mean, the O-ring looks good there. Gasket looks good here. But let's go ahead and open this sucker up and take a look. Because as you can see, it's full of that nasty, nasty gas that was in there. So let's open this sucker up. All right. Oh wow. So you could see all the crud on there. Look at this. That would be a reason why I wouldn't start. Looks like almost like sand. So we're definitely gonna have to clean this out. Guarantee those jets are probably clogged in there too. All right, so let's take this apart and clean it. All right, so before we start spraying out this carburetor, safety first. You don't want to get carb clean in your eye. It stings like heck. And got another brand new set for myself here as well. I'll go ahead and leave the link in the description for these if you want to purchase some. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is remove the pin here and then take the float out. All right, so we're going to remove this right here. We're going to push that through. Then we're going to take the float off, and the little pin should be right under there. You can actually see it under that plastic tab right there. And we'll go ahead and start spraying the sucker out. All right, so it's a little stuck in there, so that's definitely part of the issue as well. Wow, that sucker was gummed up in there. All right, you can take that, here, take it. All right, go ahead and take the float off, and the needle is right there. Yep. Got that, you can set the float in there. And there's our little needle. But now to show you folks up and close, look at all that. It almost looks like there's sand in there. So definitely needs to be cleaned out. Then you want to spray out all these holes in here. Make sure they're nice and clean. There we go. See, it's coming out that hole down here.
Okay.
Now go ahead and get the other one. Yep. That's why you got the glasses on. Hit it, you gotta hit it hard. All right, and so this is where the fuel comes in. So we wanna spray that out too. There it goes. There. All right, so the needle is gonna sit right in here, just like that. And it's gonna go right here. And then we're gonna put our pin back through. All right, that sits nice now. That goes on there just like that. Okay, it's gonna go back in the bottom there.
Okay.
All right, so we'll go ahead and mount this back up on there. But first we gotta get that piece in up here. Okay, so now we can go ahead and hook our throttle back up. That. All right, so that's working right. All right, so it's the next day and
we are gonna finish up this weed whacker and put in the new air filter we had to go get last night. It was getting late, and the spark plug.
So here's the number on the air filter, 491588S, and this is the spark plug right here.
861 ECO.
And it's a Champion. It's actually RJ19LM or J19LM or 5861. Oh, look, I can see it through there. All right, so we got the stuff to finish it off. So Lauren's gonna go ahead and put the plastic cover back on here. Yep, just like that. And we'll get that last one on. All right, so now we can go ahead and get the new filter, which is right here. So you can open that up. I'll go ahead and, they didn't have these with them and I didn't see these anywhere, so I'm just gonna spray this out with air. Yeah, let me just lift up in that a little bit. It should slip right in. Oh, here, go with this.
There you go.
All right, so we got that in there. Yeah, lift up on that a little bit. And then there's one more screw to go in here. Make sure that's lined up. Now we just need to go ahead. We already loosened up the spark plug. So we can take that one out. There's the old one, and we'll put the new one in. Open that. That's good. All right. All right, let's get this thing on the ground and put some fresh gas in it and see how it does. And if you're wondering, I did do an oil change on this 4 or 5 years ago when I put it away, and the oil is still full and looks great, nice and clear. And go ahead and start it. right, so we got her fired up, but the carburetor still doesn't sound right. So there might have been some more junk in there that we missed, obviously. I would like to put a fuel filter on here. That'd probably be our best bet. So we put a fuel filter on there and then clean the carburetor out again and go from there. But right now we're gonna go ahead and take this apart again, get the carburetor off, give it another cleaning, and then try it again. All right, so welcome back. Our carburetor finally came in, and actually came with to replace the O-ring and the gasket there, and there she is. So brand new and pretty cheap. It was around 23 bucks on Amazon. I'll go ahead and leave a link in the description for it. But for that price, I mean, rebuild kit was like $15 or $16. You might as well just buy a whole new one at that, at that point. So we're gonna go ahead and take this old one off, put the new one on, and this thing should run like a top. So, all right. There we go. New carburetor on there. So, think it's gonna run?
I hope so.
Me too.
It's gotta.
All right, let's get it down and get it started. So, I'm gonna prime it 3 times. And should be ready to fire up. Go ahead.
Take 3. Take 4.
Shut it off.
Okay.
All right. All right. Primed it a couple more times. Should go. New carburetor. Yeah. All right. Let it warm up for a minute. So while this is warming up, my wife just found the tiniest little frog here. Look at that guy. Oh, he's so cool.
Say hi.
Whoa.
Whoa.
All right.
It's cool. Right back.
All right, sounds good. Let's try it out. Let's do some weed whacking here. Chungus. All right, so we got a mom out here with her 3 little babies. This guy is just tearing apart the fences here with his horns. Chungus, you knock it off. Yeah, stick your big nose up there. All right, so what better place to try this out than back here at the cabin? So let's get to it, or you can get to it.
Okay. Always making me work. Okay, safety first. DeWalt safety glasses. All right, let's fire her up.
All right, so we got the new carburetor on. As you saw, put it in. She was able to fire it up, worked fine. Got out here, did some clearing. And obviously we're gonna use this on other places because this is good for thicker brush and stuff like that. What do you think?
It worked well, and it's easy, surprisingly easy to push.
All right, just like a push mower.
Yeah.
All right, we'll go ahead and leave a link in the description for the machine and the carburetor. Hopefully you just need the carburetor, already have the machine, or you can clean your carburetor out and get it running. So once again, guys, we hope you guys like,
subscribe,
enjoy,
and ring that notification bell.
and we'll see you on the next one. Bye, guys.
You can't say goodbye without saying goodbye to me.
All right, Olaf, we'll see you on the next one. All right, bye, Obo.
Bye, guys.